Ladies and gentlemen, the best wrestling podcast around, the Heel Mob.
From Brooklyn to your living room, it's the best podcast to listen to. Morning, even afternoon, here clever blind girl and a Jew talk about wrestling. They do it 24/7, cause they love to speak on it every week. That's why they are best friends, and they're back once again for some wrestling talk. So sit back, relax, it's time for Heel Mobs.
They're not just smart, they're Heel Mobs. They're not just smart, they're Heel Mobs. They're not just smart, they're Heel Mobs.
Ladies and gentlemen, fans and friends, we are back once again. I am the custodian of charisma, the ophthalmologist of optimism. I am the hyperactive heel and your messiah of mischief. She is the sultan of sarcasm, the sorceress of sass, the blonde ballbuster, and everybody's favorite coat. I am Brady. She is Danielle. Together, we are the best friends in all the land. We are the Heel Marks. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Welcome to the show. Enjoy it in the future. That's right. You guys are in the future, and we have no idea what it looks like. Is it sunny? Is it rainy? Is it somehow snowy? Are there dogs barking at you, and you just want to go outside and play with them, but you can't? You don't know those dogs. You can't just go playing with strangers' dogs. Either way, we're happy that you chose to listen to this show while you're going through that. We've got plenty to talk about, right, Danielle?
Right. And I disagree with you. I would totally play with a stranger's puppy.
If it was just like, what if it was like really like big?
A big dog? Even better. I'd play with a dog. Ted Bundy used to lure females into his car by saying that he had an injured dog. I would have got swooped right up.
Jesus.
Yep. That would have been like, puppy?
That's really how you do it. You use the dogs to get all your
Fucking
mischief
awful.
done.
Doggy. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. Somehow we're talking about dogs. That's like getting me to think about the wolf dogs, which then brings me to Braun Breaker bringing the animal out. So, like, let's get into that. I'm really enjoying the pivot. Like, I was frustrated at first because I didn't understand why he was this big SmackDown signing. Then Raw drafts him top value pick, but then like they don't put him in King of the Ring. And you've got Adam Pearce on TV literally saying, I didn't want to put you in the deep end, kid. And honestly, the funny thing is I've not liked Pearce in any of this. Like in terms of character, Pearce comes off to me as like really like up his own ass. Like, who told you to fucking like, what are you talking about? Braun's the talent. Nobody asked you to worry about throwing him in the deep end. It's a fucking tournament. Like, are you kidding me? So I love that Braun Breaker is kind of like, bro, this is on you. Like, who put you in charge? They fucked up.
Yeah.
Because you're making stupid decisions. I'm gonna fuck up all your favorites now. And at the end, like even at the end, like when Braun like does this devastation, this is like 2 weeks in a row now. Adam Pearce to me is like way too close to him, way too loud, way too in his face. This man could kill you. Like, I know you're the boss, but this man could kill you. You're supposed to run backstage and, like, get an email. You've been suspended. You've been fined. You know what I'm saying? You do that behind the keys because you're supposed to be scared of what this guy would do from you. I'm glad that eventually Braun kind of, like, stopped, stared at him, and Pearce had to, like, back up. And so, like, I love the way they're doing it.
Yeah, they're really making him a force to be reckoned with, and I really like that. It was weird that they didn't put him in King in the Ring. I still am scratching my head about that, but...
Well, I like I said, now that we're watching it play out,
it
works because you were able to keep him strong. If you put him in the tournament, you would have had to lose to somebody.
Right.
So
but
I'm
he's
glad
coming in
that
hitting hard.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, he gets me nervous. I'm like, ooh. I'm like,
bro, the guy is a house.
Yeah.
Like a house on wheels. Because did you see the video of him?
Yeah,
like
he was like
crawling. Yeah,
like an animal, like a predator. Like a predator. He was just like, I was like, oh. I was like, he's
legit
quick.
From like knee to leg, to leg.
Do you ever watch wrestling and you're like, I would be so winded doing that? I like him just running, hopping over the barricade and hopping into the ring. I would be like,
that's how I feel when I watch a Royal Rumble. Like they sprint into the ring. I'm like, bro, I'd be done.
I'd be done by the time I got into the ring. I was like watching him and he's like, he's just like crawling on his hands and knees and being so fast. I'm like, I'm so
Yeah.
tired looking
So
at you.
explosive.
Yeah.
So
I'm like,
explosive.
this is why you guys are professional athletes and I am not, because I would be tired by the time I got to the ring. I would hold on to that rope and be like, and like pant. It's like when I'm going up the subway stairs. By the time I get to the top of the subway, I am out of breath.
Now, I love what they're doing. I don't really know what. I don't know if it's Braun versus Ricochet, if it's Braun versus Ilya,
Yeah.
if it's all three that are going to feud at the same time.
Probably.
Because Ricochet and Ilya like running it back, and now
Yeah.
Braun's like interfering. This is one of those things where, granted, with Ilya and Braun, it's more how they're being presented. With Ricochet, it's how we all see him. But these are three rising stars. These are three
Yes.
shining stars from Raw. So if we do go with this, I do think that the winner needs to come out of this with a title shot relatively short. Like if it's Braun, or in fact, either one of them really should. If it's Ricochet, I'd say let Ricochet go after Damien. But Ilya or Braun, I'd say as soon as they win, they probably should be knocking on Sammy's door.
Yeah. Agreed. Can I just say too, minus the Brock
course.
stuff, I'm loving the stuff with Ricochet and Ilya. Like, I love that. I think they have such great chemistry in the ring. I love watching them work together. I think they are explosive and like magnetic. Like, it's really amazing to watch the two of them, regardless of the Brock situation. Braun, excuse me.
And they're doing it in ways that doesn't make the fans choose. Like, it's all like whatever their rivalry is, it's all based around respect.
Yes.
Ricochet has been saying for how long that he is one of the best in the world. He needs opportunity. He finally got the opportunity by being put in King of the Ring, and he fell short. And now Ricochet has to look inward and say, why do I keep falling short? He did that one promo after that match where he's kind of like, something has to change. What I'm doing isn't working. Something has to change. And you're kind of wondering what that is. But it's really just increase the chip on his shoulder. So when someone like Ilya walks around, with a smile on his face, Ricochet looks at him and he's like, bro, you beat me, but you're not better than me. Let's fucking do this again.
Right. It's really exciting to watch.
I love the line. It was damn near a bar. Ilya said backstage, he's like, I break men, but I don't, okay, when I fight men, I break them, but I don't fight broken men. Something like that.
Yeah. That was a really good. Yeah, that's a good line. Yeah, that was a really good line.
I heard that, bro. I was like, that's such a bar.
Like, I'm not gonna fight.
Like, what a cool thing to fucking say. Here's the only thing I didn't like, kind of. Like, it was more, I laughed, but I don't think I'm supposed to be laughing. But like, if this whole segment starts with the medical guy, the doctor clearing Ricochet. Yep, you're 100%, you're good to go. And then Ricochet can't even walk out to the ring without wincing in pain. Everything he does hurts. I'm like, bro, who hired this doctor? Yeah, like, what does it take to be 100%? This guy is clearly in so much pain. What is going on?
WWE doctors at their fucking finest, bro.
Right. Like I almost feel like Ricochet shouldn't have gotten cleared in front of us. Like if we just heard Ricochet saying that, and then if anything, we can scratch our head. Did Adam Pearce really talk to the doctor, or is he taking Ricochet's word for it? But here we go. We see the doctor in action, fucking touching those broken ribs and just, yep, you're good to go.
Like, quack.
But once again, I thought that was hilarious. I'm just not supposed to.
Yeah. I love Ricochet. Ricochet and his KT tape reminds me of Claudio Castagnoli when he was still Cesaro. Remember when he just kept putting more KT? I'm like, is he just gonna come out in a KT tape suit?
It was like if your fucking kid gets in like the post
Scotch tape.
Boom, yeah, exactly.
And you're putting it all over your face. I'm like, we're just putting KT tape everywhere. I do love me some KT tape, but I'm just like hysterical laughing because there's KT tape all over these guys.
All over the place.
But yeah,
I'm a bit surprised that Ilya and Braun are tying it up so quick. It almost makes me sad because you kind of assume whichever one of them come out victorious, Ricochet has got to take the pinfall. And then you figure Braun and Ilya will probably go on to have their own singles feud just because they're two behemoths. And this is why I'm surprised, because these are two guys that you think Raw would just have them both kind of steamroll. Like they both kind of just be on their own path of destruction. But we're getting them now, and that kind of just highlights how stacked the roster is, especially on the Raw side, really. Like they can switch up, mix and match. They have so many matchups.
Yeah. Raw really got like some good picks out of this draft, I feel. And like people that can really
100%.
work together well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when certain people start having to fly on their own. So now there's like an extra, they have to create another space for them on the show. For example, with everything going on with Chad Gable and the Alpha Academy, we've been talking about how we want this to go, and it does seem like WWE is going to rush into this. I don't know if it's on them, because the crowd's really just responding organically for Otis. Like they got behind him so fast.
Oh my
WWE
God.
snapped their fingers, and WWE crowd was just kind of like, "Oh yeah, wait a minute, we do love Otis again. You want us to cheer? Okay, Otis, Otis."
I will say the belt thing was a little silly. It was uncomfortable.
Oh no, the whole fucking thing, like that's what I'm saying. Like they're rushing it to the point, like straight to the end, and I'm just kind of like, okay, I don't even like this shit. Like I want to see Chad Gable successfully manipulate them. We're not seeing that.
Yeah.
We're seeing him just completely like verbally assault poor Maxine, verbally assault poor Akira Tozawa, and now verbally and attempting to physically assault poor Otis. I also don't like the fact. I also don't like the fact that like Gable cost Otis the match. Like I hate it when someone's getting pushed, but losses are involved in the push, and it's like Otis should have gotten the win, and then Gable could be mad that Otis didn't listen to him.
Yeah,
I understand they're keeping Bronson strong, so don't get me wrong. This is a no-brainer. Otis had to lose here for more storytelling, but I just, the way I'd be booking this would be just a little bit different. It seems like we're now around the corner from the split, and I don't think the IC championship gets involved. It doesn't seem like this heel persona is going to get Gable the title. It seems like Otis is finally going to snap and turn on Gable mid-match and cost him.
Right. I feel like this is a very, like you said, it's very fast track, where I would, in my wrestling mark brain, I would think that Gable would kind of be manipulating them, and they're not 100%. Maybe they're like 80% on his side, and they're just falling in line. He beats Sammy and gets the IC championship, and then Otis is the one to dethrone him. Obviously, this can play out for months, year, whatever.
Right.
But that's how I would plan it, because then everyone would be behind Otis, and then eventually Otis would take the belt from Chad Gable, because Chad is like, I'm the IC champ, blah, blah, blah. And then finally Otis snaps.
Right.
And then he dethrones him, or like faces him for the IC championship. I mean, that would be the perfect,
because you have to look at the end game also. So it's like, okay, if we're now splitting Gable on his own and we're splitting Otis on his own, and Otis is the one we're getting the crowd behind, Otis is the one they're gonna freak out for as soon as Otis finally turns on Gable. Otis is the one the crowd's going to be chanting for.
Yes.
So
fucking love Otis.
What then? Me too.
Right.
What then? They're not going to. I mean, and fuck it. Maybe they will. I knock on wood. I doubt it. But they're not going to go ahead and rewind the time and give Otis another Money in the Bank win and try to do it right. That doesn't happen. And if you don't get the IC title on Gable, then you don't get it on Otis. So you make Otis this big super over babyface for what? Like, what are you going to do with that?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like if you're I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. This is where it's still confusing to me why Sammy beat Walter. I'm okay with Sammy beating Walter. Gunther, shit. Gunther. It's just the story line for Chad Gable. Also because I love Chad Gable and I think Chad Gable should have some gold. You know what I mean? But I just feel like maybe you could have had Chad Gable beat Gunther, and then power got to his head because he's like, I beat Gunther, I dethroned him, and then act all cocky, and then did this switch of being a heel, and this whole thing fell. Like, I don't know why we like we pivoted away from the Sammy and IC. It's very weird.
Right. I mean, luckily Gable's obviously still feuding with Sammy since Sammy decided to interrupt and protect Otis, and they're harping on the whole Sammy Otis friendship. Otis feels bad. what they did the week before King Queen of the Ring, where Otis like reluctantly does give Sammy the big clothesline in the corner, setting Gable up to hit him with Chaos Theory. Like I loved that, and I was hoping that was really that move kind of was what convinced me, oh, Gable
Right.
might actually win this title at the Saudi show.
Right.
Obviously, he didn't do that, but I was hoping we were going to get that. Like that to me could have gone on for like a month or two, where Otis
Right.
is torn, and because Otis doesn't get nearly enough credit for like the emotions he's able to get out of the audience,
His
not just
facial
getting himself
expressions.
over. His facials are so good, and like in that match, it was so funny because early in the match, I almost didn't enjoy it because Otis looked like a shell of himself and he looked like a broken man. And then all of a sudden, with like a simple look to the crowd, he becomes Otis again and he starts
Right.
doing the shake and taking off. And it's kind of like, oh my God, he really can flip a switch. Like this man is really tugging at my strings right now. Like he's taking me on a roller coaster ride.
Otis is also very good at taking something they give him and just going with it. Like that whole Mandy Rose thing. That
Yeah.
that was over. People
He
were
gave that to WWE. WWE didn't give that to him.
That's right.
He
But
gave
like, you
that
know
to him on
what?
a
But
silver
still,
platter.
like taking something that if you think about that, it is kind of silly. It's a very silly thing, but it's
There was
fantastic.
no reason for that to work. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason for that to work, but people were behind it. When she got thrown out of the Royal Rumble and she landed
That's
on
a
top of
moment.
him,
That's a
fucking
moment.
moment. Like a fucking moment. Him winning the Money in the Bank. People were excited he won the Money in the Bank. Who did he have to give
Yeah.
it to? Was it
He
Brock?
lost it to The Miz.
The Miz. That's right.
Yeah, they threw it to
I
The Miz.
forgot.
Miz won the title and then dropped it to Lashley.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Poor Otis. They could have.
Like I
Man.
said, like I do think that we're going to like the way this plays out.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
do love watching a superstar, a deserving superstar like Otis get another shot
Right.
at the spot that should have been his years ago.
It's like one of those memes that it's like, here's point A, and to get to A, you could just go to B straight, but instead WWE has to go here and then down this way, and then back
Right.
up this way, and this, and they do all these zigzags just to get to the point. And I'm gonna be along for the ride because
Yeah.
I love Chad Gable. I love the Alpha Academy. Like I love everybody in there. I think Maxine's really stepping it up. I think Tozawa, I think all of them are so fantastic that I'm just okay that they're getting TV time and they're getting stories and it's not just like these ridiculous matches. I'm glad. I could do without the belt weird scene, but that's okay. If it's gonna progress a storyline and do
I
something,
mean, that's
like
that
that's totally fine.
like that's what makes me think they're rushing towards the
Yeah.
end a little bit because like the belt lashing. I mean, that just made like they really decided to skip a few chapters and skip straight to Chad Gable is a fucking maniacal asshole with a Napoleon complex. You know what I mean? Like they're really taking it to the next level in terms of what he's willing to do to his people. I'm still weary of the Creed brothers. It does kind of seem like we're also like, and maybe that's why they're rushing because the long game isn't Gable manipulating Alpha Academy. The long game isn't what happens with that. The long game is him trading out his losers that he's tired of with the Creed brothers who have been losing, but he sees them as winners. He knows that they've got the ruthless spirit that Otis doesn't have anymore, that Akira
Right.
Tozawa doesn't have anymore, that poor Maxine's never gonna get. So I do think that's where we're headed. And we've got SummerSlam around the corner, so maybe they're trying to make moves for that card, you know?
SummerSlam's almost here, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Everything
around
happens
the
so
corner.
fast.
So fast. And in fact, speaking of so fast, let's talk about the way Raw ended. Even though I know some of us, me and you included, we did not actually get the ending.
I didn't get.
We
Yeah.
got just Liv and Dom staring at each other.
And I remember you texted me and you're like, "What an ending!" And then all of a sudden the internet blew up, and I was like,
Well,
"Wait."
what I also texted you, like from that visual, I'm like, bro, when they do this, they're gonna make Dom and Liv kiss. Like I literally texted you that
Right.
before we
You
see
did.
it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
it's gonna be like Christian and Trish at WrestleMania when she
Yeah.
turns on Jericho.
Yeah.
And then I go to Twitter, and sure enough, I see what actually
Yeah, it
happened,
cut
which is
off.
Liv grabbing Dirty Dom and giving him a wet one, a big old forced kiss. He did not consent at all. He like sucked in his lips. He tried to give her the nose, the mustache. He tried to give her everything.
Did you see the meme? You know that meme where it's the person holding the kid up, and then the other kid's crying in the corner. So it's like wrestling fans, and it's like Liv, and then it's like it's Dom holding Liv up, and then it's Rhea drowning, and then at the very bottom it's like his wife, his real wife.
I've seen that. Yeah.
One thing I did like about Dom and Rhea is there wasn't any kissing or like too much sexual stuff, if you want, like it was
they
just
were able to have more chemistry than almost any couple we've seen in years
without
with
kissing,
nothing more than
contact.
like Rhea she'd throw her arm on his shoulder, she'd wrap her arm around him, they just kind of look at each other, and it was just like they had instant chemistry. You had to know that they were gonna do something different with whatever happens with Liv and Dom.
100%.
Before we get to the kiss, I do love the Braun Strowman chasing JD the entire episode. I really didn't understand. Also, and I still need clarification on this, was Braun's injury, like, is that just fake? They wanted him to do that, I guess, to explain why he wouldn't catch JD? Because I seriously thought in that match that he hurt himself.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he hurt himself because they're having him do, like, the choo-choo train spot or whatever it's called, and...
Is that what it's called?
It's definitely not, but he I just picture him choo-choo, like choo-choo
train spot.
The choo-choo train spot, yeah. So Braun Strowman, like, he's running around, but he's limping, but like they're not talking about, oh, this injury is gonna slow him down. And then even in backstage, like JD's running top speed, and you see Braun just like limp past Sheamus, like he's just trying to. It looked like he had to take a shit. Like that whole thing didn't make sense to me. And then obviously you realize, oh, he's been chasing him the entire show because this is how they're booking Dom to accidentally help Liv again.
Right.
Where they needed Braun to be chasing
running
JD.
Though, like you could tell he was holding back, but he looked very silly running.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I need to read that, like, he actually tweaked his ankle or knee or something, because them storylining, them actually saying, hey, so tonight you're going to have a bad leg. Sell it the entire night. We have you chase this fucking guy around the stadium.
Right.
Like, that to me makes no sense. So I gotta believe that he did tweak a little something and just had to push through, because they didn't just book him in an early match. They booked him in the show closing spot.
It looked very
silly. Big, because they needed him for that. They couldn't. They booked that in early, so I almost feel like he had to work through the injury because of the way they booked him throughout the night. If that is the case, then credit to Braun for powering through. I did love the way it happened, where he's trying to get to JD, just pushes Dom out the way, he flies into the cage, which blasts Becky, only for Liv to say, "Wait a minute, oh, my time, I'm out, champion." I loved that.
Becky sold that really well. Fucking love Becky.
And I do love the pivot they did, I don't know, the pivot, just the wrinkle that we didn't see coming, where now Liv is forcing herself on Dom, grabbing him, giving him the kiss, and Dom doesn't look like he's okay with it.
Yeah.
It does not actually look like he's been trying to cost Becky the title. It looks like he's just a loser, and it keeps messing up.
Right. But and I hope they keep it that way.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to be revealed that he was helping her all along. I don't
want that. I don't think so. I and that's what I like about this kiss, where this is really where it could start. Granted, there's all the Easter eggs that they're giving us. There's Dom and Liv apparently come out of the same room. There's Liv and Finn coming out of the same car. Then there's Liv talking to JD, which they kind of addressed, at least with Damian calling him out on it, and then JD talking his way out of it. So it's one of those things where, like, it looks like Liv's making a play at Judgment Day. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, we don't know. Maybe it does get revealed that they were with her the entire time because of all this secret collusion we've been seeing. But I would prefer it if we see, like, this is the beginning. This is the day Dom became Liv's. He can't stop thinking about that kiss, whatever.
Right. And then when Mommy comes back, it's where he's torn. It's not like, no, I join Liv, and then we have to see who he decides to pick. I think that would be a fun little story.
I mean,
I just don't want the end of Judgment Day.
Me too, but at the same time, like sometimes you need to kind of accept not necessarily the end, but just change is
Yeah,
necessary.
that's
And
true.
unfortunately, without Rhea, Judgment Day like does not get booked the same. Like they ran Raw
I
for
was
a while.
I
Like
was
they ran
so
it.
sad because like we know like in real life Rhea and Damien are like best friends and they both had the title at the same time and it was like this is amazing. Like this is going to be
We
so
were
great
so
and then
happy.
fucking done. Oh, poor Rhea. I mean Rhea's living her best life right now, but
Absolutely. I mean, listen, she's going to be like a super over baby face.
oh yeah, when she comes
And
back 100%.
right. And I listen, it seems kind of like we're headed towards a super over baby, or maybe not super over, but it looks like we're headed towards a babyface Damien also. Like
Yeah.
Damien's and I'm not I'm not against it. I
Yeah.
think Damien's got big babyface potential, but it's like you said, we're just losing Judgment Day. And then it's like, do they keep Judgment Day but try to make it new again? Because then I feel like that's where you're kind of jumping the shark. If,
Right.
for example, Liv becomes the new mommy of Judgment Day, so it's Liv, Finn, JD, and Dom Dom. Like, I don't think that's gonna work.
Mm-mm.
Like it's good that Liv's kind of leading towards the destruction of Judgment
Yeah,
Day.
that's
Like
okay.
she's the catalyst to Rhea losing her family, which is great, but Liv doesn't need them.
Right.
Liv can do her own thing. And
Yeah.
then there's also, I don't think people are making too much of this, but there's Carlito trying to get into Judgment Day. Carlito is a legend in itself. Carlito is a veteran. Maybe they turn it to where Carlito kind of takes Judgment Day away from Damien. Damien's trying to keep him out.
If I was a new wrestling fan and I was watching Carlito, I would never pinpoint him as a legend, and that breaks my heart.
It's so weird.
He's a legend. Like I remember when I first started watching wrestling, like really getting into wrestling, and I hated Carlito. And I hated Carlito because he was a heel. And I just was like, I hate this character. I hate this guy. Before like I was like into kayfabe and like, shooting all that shit. So I was just like, Carlito. Carlito's a fucking legend. Like the pop that man got at fucking in Puerto Rico. Like, what's happening here? Like, why is this why are we booking this man this way and not like a fucking legend?
Right. I mean, and I do love the work he's doing. So
Oh
it
yeah,
is
don't
kind
get
of
me
like he
wrong. He
makes
looks
me
great.
laugh.
Yeah.
But like when Finn and Judgment Day try to take out LWO for Carlito and fail because LWO turns the tables on him, and then Damien has to come out himself and just destroy them all, which I do like because I like the potential of multiple challengers for Damien, and Ray's a good one. Like Ray's a Hall of Famer. Ray's a multi-time world champion. He's a good person for your unproven champion to beat,
Yeah.
especially as he's got Drew in Scotland. He's got Gunther at SummerSlam. Like Damien does not have an easy road to keep this title. So you need to give him some winners that have good resumes. I mean, sorry, you need to
Damien,
give him some challengers.
right. Damien has like, when the football season comes out and there's always that one team that like has like 3 easy weeks and then the rest of their weeks are like hell and you're like, how are these
Yeah.
people gonna win? That's how I feel about Damien. I remember texting
100%.
you.
That's a
So yeah, it's that's what I feel like when you're watching it. You know what I'm talking about when you're like, yo, why do they have such a tough schedule? That's what I feel like with Damien. I remember
right.
I remember texting you during this and being like, Damien is probably marking out so much that he gets the body slam Rey Mysterio. Like the little
All
kid
the
mark
time.
in him is probably like, "Hee." Like you can't write that shit. Like I mean, you do actually, but you know what I mean. Like it's probably so exciting for him. Like I believe he's our age. So like you're body slamming your legend, like a legend that you grew up with.
Damien Priest is older than us. I'm pretty sure he's in his 40s already.
He's in his 40s.
I think he's like 41.
All right. I mean,
I could be totally making that
I
up.
mean, Brady,
Braun's
it's not that
another
off.
one. Braun's
41.
another
Good
one.
call.
Braun's another one that's coming after Damien's title. And that's another one where that would be a good win for Damien.
Yes.
Even though I'll say this, and listen, I've been looking on Twitter. It seems like I'm alone. People haven't really been talking about it. I don't know what it is. Maybe the outfit that he was wearing Raw. Everyone was comparing it to Jeff Hardy. I did not think Braun looked big at all. I don't know if they're shooting him from a different angle. I don't know if maybe that they're having him stand next to Damien and it looks like they're the same fucking height. So you're kind of like, okay, Braun's clearly not like it reminds me of when Roman Reigns returned, speared Braun, and then said, "You're only a monster when I'm here." Like you're not a
Yeah.
monster without me. That's kind of how I feel now. Like I don't, even when Braun's chasing JD McDonough, I'm supposed to look like JD McDonough's gonna get stepped on. And
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way.
He looks smaller than he normally looks.
But I'm not even just talking mass. I'm talking like height too. Like it looks like the fucking guy shrunk.
I mean, Damien is pretty tall.
No, Damien's huge. I get it. But they never make a big deal about like they don't.
Yeah.
The way they talk about Damien isn't the way they used to talk about The Undertaker or Kane. But the
Right.
way they used to talk about Braun was. Braun
Yeah.
was the monster among men. This was the next Andre the Giant. And they put him next to the Miz and he looks normal. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like and I just don't know what I used to see. I really do think Roman Reigns made that man look like a monster. And maybe the fact that it's been like years since he flipped an ambulance over or anything like that. Like there was a while where they were really giving us a stunt. Every week was Braun Strowman showcasing strength and physicality. What was the line he kept saying? I'm not finished yet. Like that destruction was cool. Maybe that's what I'm missing. Without Braun just
Maybe.
really destroying sets like fucking Godzilla, just fucking destroying cities.
Maybe
he
camera
comes across
angles.
as a wrestler.
Maybe
I do think that's it also. I think he's getting shot different.
Yeah, maybe he's getting shot different. Or like him running like an old man who has to go potty doesn't really help.
I mean,
either.
that definitely
that didn't help
right?
either.
And I feel like normally maybe it's also like if he would have taken the tank top off and then I actually would have seen like all the muscles, it was kind of like, okay, that's a fucking gigantic man.
I don't know.
But with the tank top, it did kind of feel very Jeff Hardy to me. I kind of was waiting for him to give those hip swivels a shot.
Dude, by the way, you said Braun, and I'm thinking Braun Breaker, and then I'm like, no, he's talking about Braun Strowman, and then I'm like, wait a minute, he's talking about Braun Breaker. No, he's definitely talking about Braun Strowman. I'm like,
there's
many
always
Brauns.
Bronson Reed in the mix too.
Bronson
Yeah.
Reed. Then you said Braun. I'm like, is he talking about Bronson Reed? Too many Brauns.
Somebody tweeted about how Vince McMahon isn't working for them anymore because Braun, and Bronson are all on the same show.
Yeah, that's not a thing. Vince would be like, no, absolutely not. His name is B.
Well, Braun Breaker's real name is Bronson, and they didn't name him Bronson because they had Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
So the fact that they did decide to still put those guys all on the same show, that is kind of
hilarious. You can't be naming Braun Strowman Adam. Imagine going by his real name. Adam comes to the ring.
I wonder if if they ever give us Braun Breaker versus Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman. And they eventually just like, listen, you motherfuckers are changing your name after I win this match. That's it. You're going by Steve.
Battle of the Bronze, man.
And then LeBron James is the special ref.
Yeah. And then Braun from Game of Thrones. Oh man, you won't get that reference.
Nope.
Damn it!
Braun's
my favorite character on Game of Thrones. But Braun would come on.
About
He's Braunn, I think, or something like that. Game of Thrones fans are yelling at me right now. They're probably like, "That's not how you spell it." Sorry.
Was Game of Thrones like? I hear people complain about the ending all the time. Was it just really predictable, or
no? They destroyed everything that they built up for. Like, they had a storyline going with Jon Snow that, of course, Detective Dan, the storyline sleuth, figured out very, very early. And then they never, they showed it and then it didn't matter. Like, things that unraveled didn't matter. They rushed the ending. A heel turn happened with a specific character that happened way too fast. Like, it was just like, oh, this person just snapped. And it's like, where's the storytelling? And then people want to complain about wrestling, but we watch wrestling for storylines, motherfucker.
Right. And speaking of your storyline sleuthing, we all knew what was happening. We saw that fucking powder blue suit, and we're like, this man's about to Mark Henry somebody in the face.
Well,
and we knew it was happening. That did not make it any less entertaining.
Well, you had me on a textual roller coaster because you were like, is this really happening? No, this isn't happening. He's going to Mark Henry. That's a pretty blue suit. Wait, is this happening? This might be real. No, it's not.
Well, no.
He's going to turn on him, right?
because what it was, and they were very smart to have AJ play with our emotions, get into
Yeah.
our heads, but with Cody nowhere in sight. And they
Right,
were
right,
very
right.
smart to do the AJ Cody respect handshake hug in the
Yeah.
backstage area to the point where you do kind of think. And they were also very smart to have LA Knight be the first one. Because LA Knight's a rival of AJ's for a few months ago, but they go ahead, they give respect to each other, and you're like, okay, that's some real shit. Then Cody comes, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, because they're getting it out of the way now. Like Cody's done from this segment. Now AJ's out. The fact that it did seem like his heel persona had just faded away. And instead of him giving the cold shoulder to the Good Brothers, he's out there hugging them. Thanks, brothers. You've been with me the whole time. Let's go out, do it. And so you're kind of like, damn, they just dropped everything they've been doing. And he did a phenomenal delivery in
Pun
terms of,
intended.
huh?
Pun intended. You said phenomenal. You said he was phenomenal. And I said, yes, pun intended.
But yeah, it was just like he had tears in his eyes, and I think that was putting tears in other people's eyes. The way he kind of just like the pacing of it all, where he
Yeah.
did go to the Good Brothers. Listen, if we got to do this one more time, let's do it right. They did it too sweet. I also love that about it all, and it's interesting if we go back to Mishin's interview, she was like, AJ hasn't really been talking to us. She like AJ, I don't really know what's going on. But then Good Brothers were waiting for him to the point where he had been talking to them. So I feel like this might be, and I think a lot of people knew this was going to happen eventually. They just didn't do nearly enough with her, with the group. But it seems like Mia Yim might be no longer in the club, which is fine. She's got a big match next week for NXT. She's getting herself in the conversation for SmackDown Championship. So I'm fine with her on her own.
Me too.
But it seems like the Good Brothers are going to go back to their evil ways, villainous ways in support of their brother AJ. Because when security's coming down, all of a sudden Good Brothers are outside kind of like bouncers, like security, not letting nobody in. Nah, bro, he's got to do what he's got to do. You guys stay out here.
Yeah, you stay over there.
And listen, if AJ's a heel going for the championship, it never made sense to me that he got rid of his boys. Like, obviously, there's strength in numbers. Obviously, having the Good Brothers by your side is going to make it harder for anyone to take you out and easier for you to get the title. So it makes sense that finally he's bringing his boys back into the fold. It's the second. I love that he put his arms up like the Mark Henry way. Like after they did, I was kind of like, okay, bring it to us. Go ahead and do it. Yeah, there it is.
That bright blue suit. Yeah,
Blue
it was also
suit.
The blue suit was also very out of character of AJ. I'm like, what is this fucking suit? When would this man ever wear this suit?
Also, the jacket was a little big on him, similar to the way Mark Henry's salmon jacket was big on him. And then I love also not just like the posing and the jacket, but after AJ does the attack, the way he's kind of standing over Cody is very similar to the way Mark was standing over John Cena. It was just very well done, an excellent chef's kiss in terms of a tribute to an iconic moment. And this just hammers it home. Like Mark Henry even said it himself the other day on his show. He said, I made retirement cool. And so now me and AJ, you know, when AJ does call it a day, me and him are going to have to, I'm going to bring the salmon jacket. He's going to have to bring the powder blue, and we're going to have to do signings wearing our retirement jackets. Like the truth is that's going to have to happen. And that's going to be such a glorious signing table. Just the image alone of just seeing them stand next to each other in their fucking pastel
colors. Oh my God. Yeah. I was like, what is AJ doing wearing this suit? You had me on a roller coaster, man. You were just like,
I mean, that's a credit to the way how well done it was. Because like I said, the second we see him walking backstage in that jacket, you're kind of like, oh my God, this guy's about to do it. And the fact that they did have me going back and forth and did have me guessing. And it really wasn't until he called Cody back in the ring. And even then, like you knew it, but once again, they were just doing a good job of trying to throw us off the scent by saying, 100%. Listen, this is still the house that AJ Styles built, but I wanted you to come out so I could give you the keys. And you're kind of like, damn, that's a good line. Damn, maybe this is some real shit. And then you're like, fine. And then he puts his hands up and you're like, okay, good. Go ahead and do it. Hit him.
Yeah. Hit him hard.
beat up John. Oh wait, no, beat up Cody Rhodes. I wonder if he brings that back.
I like getting Cody Rhodes beat up. I like watching him get beat up. Is that weird? I think because
don't
he's
think
like
it's
the
weird.
classic
It's
underdog.
well, they're making him the John Cena like.
Yeah.
It's funny. Somebody like did a clip the other day talking about how like they're booking Cody the same exact way, and they showed Cody Rhodes lifting Brock Lesnar's hand only for him to turn on him, exactly what John Cena did. And now the Cody Rhodes falling for AJ Styles' retirement, exactly how John Cena did. And there's one other one that I'm forgetting about. So it's like Cody's really just following in John's footsteps.
So that means there's only a matter of time before people start hating Cody Rhodes.
I mean, I think the WWE fans are trying to hold out longer than the AEW fans did. Like AEW fans, they had maybe a good 6 months of liking Cody Rhodes, and then immediately we're like, oh wait, you're gonna put your wife on TV and let her talk? We don't like you anymore. Boo!
Yo, they turned on him so fast. AEW fans turn on people so quick. It's one of my favorite things about AEW. Like they just are like, nah,
They
I hate
do
you.
and they don't. Because like
Right.
at the same time, like Daniel Garcia was a heel that the fans wouldn't stop cheering for. Even after like they faked the face turn and then turned him heel again. He's like, fuck you guys, I'm a sports entertainer. They still go crazy for that dance. Like they had to eventually turn
Yeah.
him face. So it's like the AEW fans like what they like and they fucking hate what they hate, man.
Right. AEW fans are also that very much that as most wrestling fans, but especially AEW fans, they're very I can talk shit about my AEW, but if you talk shit about them, then we have a problem. You're not allowed to talk shit about AEW. Only I'm allowed to talk shit about AEW.
I mean, honestly, I get that. I hear people that aren't Giants fans try to talk shit about our team. Listen, does our team suck? You damn right. Am I gonna hear that shit come out of your mouth? Fuck no, you
Absolutely
shut
not.
it.
How dare
Like,
you? Yeah.
yeah.
Like when I
I
tease
don't
you, nobody's allowed to make fun of you. If someone makes fun of you, I attack them. But do I make fun of you all the fucking time?
which I also do not appreciate.
What? It comes from love.
Speaking of AEW, I do have a question.
Uh-oh.
So when AEW and TNA started working together, it was a big deal. Everyone made a big deal about it. But over time, I do feel like it ended up being a bit underwhelming. It didn't really seem like any time Kenny Omega, who was the world champion at the time, biggest heel in AEW, also still everyone was calling him the best bout machine. He was one of the people that everyone said best wrestler in the world. So Kenny Omega is him at the moment. He's going over to TNA, winning their title, holding AEW's title. I think he had another title from New Japan
Yeah, he
at
had
the
like
time.
4. He was the belt collector at one
Three
point,
or four.
right?
Yeah, exactly. He was belt collector, Kenny Omega. He's on TNA. It didn't seem like it was that big. Like it didn't seem like it really moved the needle for TNA. And when TNA would send somebody over to AEW, and it wasn't even that many people, it felt like big news, but I don't know if it really benefited TNA that much. And it felt like when it was done, all you did was have Christian Cage, an AEW guy, yeah, TNA royalty, I get it.
Right.
But an AEW guy beats Kenny Omega for your title, and then like that's the guy that drops it back to someone from TNA. You don't even get someone in TNA to take it off the belt collector. No, AEW guy will do that.
Let me just say, AEW and TNA were canoodling. NXT and TNA, they're consummating this marriage, man. Like they got it going. Like
yeah,
they're doing it right.
Yeah,
they're,
like
they're,
big
they're
moves
consummating
they're
this
making.
shit. Yeah.
And just like what happened with when TNA and AEW started working together and all the wrestlers start fantasy booking themselves. Oh, well, wait, me and him can face each other now? Okay, let's make that happen. Now we're getting the same thing from NXT and TNA guys. And that shit is fun to watch. Like, it's a fun time to be a wrestling fan again because you're kind of like, whoa, who are we going to see? The Rascals are fucking on their knees right now. They're playing some song outside of Triple H's house, and they're begging
They're
him
holding
for
up
a
the jukebox.
reunion.
They're holding up the boombox.
What
They're
song
like,
are they playing? We Are Family?
Ooh.
We Belong Together by Mariah Carey.
Oh yeah.
That's
or
what they're doing.
What's that Marvin Gaye song?
Sitting on the dock of the bay.
That's not Marvin Gaye. We belong together. Yeah, it has to be that song. It has to be that song.
Sorry, Otis. We're gonna stick with Mariah on this one.
Yep. Yeah, it has to be that song. Yeah, it's really. I'm loving this.
And I love more than anything that it's like, let's assume, and the streets are saying this is just the beginning, and there will be more crossovers happening. So fantastic. But hypothetically speaking, let's say this was it. I love that WWE's got a hard on for Jordynne Grace,
Oh my
justifiably so,
God,
deservingly
she's
so.
so good.
Like, what a great Royal Rumble moment that was. Her entrance, her performance in the ring, like they made her look like an absolute stud. And so it makes sense that they're kind of like, you know what? Why don't we have her come back? Like, big challenger for Roxanne, big
100%.
match. I will say this, and I'm expecting a dirty finish. I'm not expecting it to be clean, and we'll get to it when we talk about our predictions.
Right.
But on paper, and like any way you look at it, TNA world, a WWE world, Jordynne Grace should kind of destroy Roxanne. Like Roxanne shouldn't be
Yes.
able to be like they're
Yes.
from like so many different things, not even just visually, but just also you look at what Roxy did compared to what Roxanne's doing, and then just Jordynne Grace for years and years and years. Like Jordynne Grace is a different animal now. She is morphed into like her final form, and nobody can fuck with her. Nobody can touch her. Bro, I think a lot of the fucking men should lose to her. Like Jordynne Grace is a
100%.
freak of nature. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
she transformed her body like completely. Like she did a complete transformation. Like you said, final form. She looks fucking fantastic and it shows, man.
And it's so funny because me and you would always talk about, like, even when her body was what it was, we were always like, Jordynne Grace is crazy beautiful. Like, she's
Crazy.
so
And
beautiful.
fucking awesome. She's a super animal lover. She like rescues animals constantly.
Oh,
Like
no,
she's also fucking
the
great.
best. And her and her husband are hilarious.
Oh yeah, her and Grisham are fucking fantastic. I love them too. But yeah, I fucking love them and I love her and I love that they're doing this. I also love that this was a big secret. Like I love that like it was a big pop and a big surprise. Like usually
and
it's like
they had
rumor
different
this.
names. They had different names on like the script call sheet. I think they had Alexa Bliss written in there at one point. I
She
think
was
Randy
hidden.
Orton was written into something. So like they were really trying to throw everyone off. And Roxanne herself, even though the way Jordynne Grace tells the story, it seems like Roxanne might have been stressed out about shit going on.
Right.
And so she was kind of just fed up and put her hands in the air like, fine, don't even tell me. I'll just find out in the ring.
Right.
But I did like that. I love that. And then as soon as I heard that interview, I watched it back to see the genuine surprise and shock in her face that like, oh shit.
But this is what it is. Like the internet has been helpful in when we need to find out stuff, but also it ruins a lot of surprises. And like we've always like, where are our big surprises? You know, like when CM Punk returned, like there was a heavy rumor on that. Were we like surprised and excited? Yeah. But at the same time, like we kind of knew it was coming. This, we had no idea. And like
it's funny. Sometimes when things like this happen, like one of my first thoughts will literally be like, oh, thank you, dirt sheets. Thank you, wrestling news sites, for not spoiling this because wow. And then I'll read about all the things WWE did to throw everyone off the set. And it's kind of like, oh, so you really would have ruined the moment for me. Like, you just thankfully they fucking kept you in the dark too. So, like, thank God that they didn't let Sean Ross Sapp or whoever else, like, figure this out because I wouldn't have wanted to read about Jordynne Grace spotted at the Performance Center before NXT tapings. Like, bro, don't tell me that. Like, come on.
Yeah, they said they hid them. Our friend who works at NXT and does tapings there, he said they hid that her from them too. Like they all had no idea.
Nobody knew.
Nobody knew, and that's a good way because that's a fun surprise. Like that was a big pop when I saw that name. I was like, holy shit! I was like, this isn't just a Royal Rumble thing. Like they're having a fucking match.
Yeah, and I love that it wasn't just that in that we do have Jordynne Grace appearing on NXT this week as well. She's gonna have a match. So I love like even like we're getting the TNA champion in a non-title, like in just a match on NXT television. Like what the fuck? Like that's crazy. And then so obviously like let's let's be real. She's got to win that match, right? They're
She has to
obviously
win
going to
that
present
match,
her
definitely.
strong. So she wins that match, and we're watching NXT present the TNA Knockouts champion like a bona fide star, and it's so fucking
Right.
crazy. Like, good for Jordan Grace, bro. Imagine not having to make career-altering, life-altering decisions and still being able to live out your dream. She didn't have to leave TNA. She didn't have to drop a title. She didn't have to abandon any company or whatever. She just had to do her motherfucking thing, and opportunities present themselves. Royal Rumble, boom, off the checklist.
I was gonna say,
NXT,
yeah.
yeah, like, you know what I
I
mean?
was
Like
gonna say,
WWE television, off the
a
list.
lot of wrestlers, like their big dream is Royal Rumble. Like that's a big thing. Like anybody in that locker room, anybody in any locker room is like, I just want to do one Royal Rumble match. Like, you know what I mean? Like not even when just being a Royal Rumble, and she got to do that. So right off that bucket list. And now she's like, oh, I'm
I
so
love
excited for
how
her.
I love how Moose was asking Jordan Grace, like, hey, you should talk to Sean for me. Tell him I want to come in. Like
Yeah.
everyone is like in line, man. Like as soon as they see it. And listen, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm biased because I love them as a group, but I would love it if they did give us a Rascals reunion. That would be so much fun, and the pop would be insane. Like Wesley's getting beat down by Gallus probably, and
Yeah.
then the theme hits and fucking they come out like, bruh, insert that into my veins.
Yeah. I would just love to see Ace Austin like
Ooh.
messing with somebody, anybody at this point. Like I love that guy. He
I
does
mean,
no
it's
wrong,
so
man.
funny. All the companies have a formation of the Bullet Club in some way, where
Oh
like
yeah.
they've got Bay and Austin, and
Fucking love
TNA
Bay.
has the Bang Bang Gang. I'm sorry, AEW has the Bang Gang, and then WWE, you've got AJ with the Good Brothers. They're reunited. Finn's around there. Um, who's another one? I mean, I guess Cody was with the Bullet Club for a bit. I feel like I'm forgetting someone else. Oh,
Or
fucking Tamatonga.
Tamatanga, yeah.
Yeah,
ROH
so
too,
like,
right? Oh well, ROH has a Bang Bang.
yeah.
Bang Bang
So
Club.
it's
What are they
like
called?
the
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 Bang Bang
the,
Club?
the Bang Bang Gang. I think they're technically Bullet Club Gold, but they unofficially refer to themselves as the Bang Bang
Whatever.
Gang. Guns up.
Finn's probably sitting there like, I created you.
Right,
I
right.
created all you bitches. Because
Him and Carl Anderson
Finn
have to be
started
talking
the
about
bullet.
that all the time.
Yeah, Finn
Yeah,
started the Bullet Club. Like he is the Bullet Club. He started it.
yeah. And so it's so crazy to think about that. It was so long ago too.
Yeah, but it
Um,
worked. The
Jordan
bull.
Jordan Grace was not the only NXT surprise we got, and what a big one for these particular pair of show hosts. Danielle, let's talk about it. How much were you marking the fuck out?
I literally jumped up from my bed and I was like, "Ah, ah," and I like grabbed my phone and I was like flailing to text you. I was like, "Ah," I was like,
Long time listeners will
oh,
know that but Danielle more than me, Danielle
oh yeah,
before me for sure, have been marking out for All Ego Ethan Page for
forever.
years, screaming his praises to anyone who would listen, and it
Anyone.
felt almost like you people were the only ones listening. It didn't feel like wrestling companies were listening to
Uh-huh.
us or anyone for a while. It didn't seem like they were listening to Ethan Page for a while because that guy is a promo machine.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
He has
I love
had the
him so
tools
much.
for a long time. A few years ago in TNA is really when he got his body in check and just
Yep.
evolved his game to another level.
Yep.
And even then, the company that signed him still weren't giving him the opportunities that we and he felt he deserved. Thank the heavens that WWE has finally looked at this man. I love them bringing him in for NXT. I love the way he came in, coming after the guy with the crown, coming after Trick Williams, the guy who's running the show right now, taking credit for an attack. Just really being
Oh.
like, whoop that Trick, I'm about to. Like,
Oh,
Ethan Page is gold, and
feel it
and
in my
I hope,
veins.
yeah, man, I hope we get a nice long feud from these guys because Ethan Page is a power hitter. This is a game changer. This is a guy who's been slept on by the entire wrestling world for way too long, and he's got everything it takes to be one of the biggest stars in the business. I truly mean that.
Our friend at NXT also, he said we had no idea. They kept that a secret too. Nobody had any idea. They kept the two of them so secret. I loved watching the interview with Jordan Grace talking about how like they bumped into each other at the gym in the hotel and they were like, she was like, he's like, please don't ruin this for me. And she's like, don't ruin this for me. And they were both like, had to go hiding because they were like, oh no. I am so excited. I wonder what's going to happen because I know Paige didn't really end very well with TNA. Like there was kind of a muffle there, but I would love to see him and Josh Alexander reunite.
Right.
I would love to see them reunite. Though, from what Ethan Page is saying, he's not officially signed to NXT.
I think that's bullshit.
You think he's just BSing?
The streets are saying that he signed a little while ago. That like him and WWE have been talking. I think this is just the way Ethan Page is promoting himself and talking about because he didn't say like even when he said he's like Ethan Page is not signed anywhere. It's not like he said. So listen, any companies that want me, I'm available. He said so. NXT, you know where to find me. Make a call. So I think that's just storyline where he's invaded, but Shawn Michaels hasn't gotten him to sign anything yet.
I think Shawn Michaels is the perfect person to lead Ethan Page into what we know that he should. I think now NXT, not when he was in talks of NXT a while ago, when NXT was still like revamping themselves after losing a bunch of people going to the main roster, after like them getting rid of a lot of people. I think Shawn Michaels now having the reins of NXT and this new brand of NXT will be Ethan Page will be a perfect addition to them. I think it will be fantastic. I think the feuds will be amazing. I think everything about this is just fucking gold for NXT. I think he should stay in NXT as long as possible. I think he would be a great champ there. I am all for this man. I was so excited when I saw this. I was like, Ethan Page. I was so excited.
And listen, it was getting frustrating watching him in AEW for the while because it just felt like AEW didn't know what they had. And everything he did was good. He took so much chicken shit and turned it into chicken cordon bleu. Like the thing with him and Matt Hardy was good it was so good the entire way through, but AEW never really like gave that the attention it needed. It was like happening online usually. And then the fans started finally reacting to it. So they had to put it on TV and do more with it. Ethan Page, getting goofy and doing the Matt Hardy dance and all that kind of stuff. But like they told some amazing stories with no help from the company that was airing it. Then they threw him in ROH, and that whole process was frustrating because ROH just doesn't commit. You're not able to see the same people every week and stories and just consistency. It's kind of like, okay, we can give you this episode and then we're going to come back to you in 2 weeks later and pick up where we left off. Wait, pick up where we left off 3 weeks ago? Yeah, don't worry. So watching him in NXT is going to be just a breath of fresh air. It's a well-needed reset button for All Ego. I love that he's keeping the name. I love that he said All Ego on TV, so we're getting the same character. Curious to see what theme he uses if he gets a new one.
I hope he does. It's all confident. It's all ego. It's not confidence. I hope it's that.
He doesn't have bad themes though. All his themes are good.
I know, but I love that song. That song.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What's the North theme? I forgot.
It's not confidence. It's all ego.
It's like Keith Lee's.
That's such a good song.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. He used that for his podcast when he used to have a podcast. Ethan Page. He used that theme, that song. It's so fucking good. I'm going to listen to it after this because I love it so much. Dude, I'm all for this. I was thinking the other day, I was reorganizing all my shirts and I'm like, I have my two wrestlers that I have the most shirts from is Ethan Page and Kevin Owens, who are very similar. And I've compared them many a times that they're very similar to each other.
Especially back when Ethan Page was a different body type before he just got super chiseled.
Yeah. I compared them a lot, but those are the two that I have the most shirts of because
because they're both magic on the mic. In very unique ways. Like they're both just so good. They can do heel or face. I think they're both natural heels, like probably better as heels, but they can both pull off an absolute face turn like nobody's business. Kevin Owens is in the middle of a great face run. Ethan Page will eventually get it, but as a heel, he's money. Like this is what he should be doing.
Also, like the nicest fucking people. Like I haven't had the honor to meet Kevin Owens, but from what I gather, he's like the nicest person. And Ethan Page has never not been nice to us ever. Like anytime
I feel like you would get along with Kevin Owens very well.
Oh my god, we would just talk about animals.
Exactly. I feel like you
Dude,
would have like some weird stuffed animal to give him and he would like love it and then give it to his
I'd be like,
daughter.
here's an echidna here. He'd be like, what is this? And then I explain, but he'd probably know what it was already.
He's probably petting a echidna
Ch-
before.
You can't pet an echidna. They have spines. They're like
I don't know what
porcupines.
the fucking echidna is, all
An
right?
echidna it's a mix between an anteater and a porcupine, and it's only native in Australia. And it lays eggs. It's a mammal that lays eggs.
Ooh, I thought the duck-billed platypus was the only mammal that
Nope,
laid
an
eggs.
echidna lays eggs too. I did a
Fucking
fourth grade
echidna,
project on
ruining
that.
my trivia questions.
You're welcome. I will say, when I used to do the WWE 2K press parties, I always regret that Kevin Owens came in and I was like, oh my God, it's going to be my moment. After I'm done working, I get to talk to him, blah, blah, blah. He literally came in, did like 2 interviews real quick, took a picture and left. And I was so upset because everybody else stayed and hung out. And I was like, I wanted to meet Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is still on him and Randy Orton are still on my list of my wrestlers I haven't met. And I would love to meet Kevin Owens one day. Ethan Page, I've met so many fucking times.
Ethan Page is the best.
The
It's just
best.
such a great opportunity for him to
Oh,
finally showcase what he can do to the world. Like I'm just so happy for him. Like, and
yeah.
and like I said, I love that you can tell by the way somebody gets brought in what the company thinks of them, how they see him. And I love that it seems clear as day. NXT sees him as a star. WWE sees him as a star.
Yeah.
I think he can do great things in NXT. I would love it if he was on main roster by 2025 or maybe by this time next year in 2025. I think that'd be great.
Page?
I don't think I need a lengthy NXT just because like this is, and we talked about this last week when John was with us about how like, yeah, good things happen to those who wait, but some people wait too long. Ethan Page isn't that young. He's a vet. He's been doing this for a while. He's been doing the best work of his career for a while. So yeah, like I don't want to see him in NXT for 3 years. Like, yeah, let's get him over, let him show what he can do, give him the matches, throw him in war games, sure. And then let's get him on the main roster with a plan in place to make this guy one of your big players because he's that good.
I'm so excited.
Mm-hmm.
This makes me so
Me
happy.
too.
Especially this NXT. If it was like a couple years ago.
Yeah. Right. No, 100%. But
Yeah.
you know what also made me happy about this week's NXT? And listen, I love that the fans are crying. So maybe that's it. I'm just bathing in their tears. But Sexy Red to me was a fun appearance. Like I really didn't have a problem with it.
What is a sexy red? I had no
Sexy
idea
Red
who this
is a
person is.
Sexy Red is a rapper.
Am I old? I'm old.
Get it sexy. Get it sexy. But
Nope.
like, here's the thing. I don't know when it happened. I think it happened way longer than I ever realized. But NXT is for the culture. NXT
Yeah.
is for the hood. Like NXT has their finger on the pulse. And I think I really realized it years ago when Hit Row did their cipher. And it wasn't like a sports entertainment cipher. It was like a legit cipher. And they did it in the ring and it got a great reaction, both by the live crowd and the Twitter audience. Like everyone loved it. And it's kind of like, okay, wow, NXT really be doing it. And how funny is it? NXT's been run by like the whitest guys in America. Like,
Yeah, Michael Hickenbottom. Like,
bro, like come the fuck out.
Where's he
Like
from?
the whitest people
Texas?
in the world. He's gotta be, yeah.
Shawn Michaels is from Texas, right?
But Sexy Red comes out. I love the way she was used. And listen, the crowd reacted to her. You could tell she was having
Arizona.
fun. She, I'm pretty sure, was the person who tweeted like to WWE or NXT first. So like she's a fan.
Right.
I think fans who have something to offer should be able to offer it. Celebrity fans, like somebody who can bring something to the product. She got the crowd live. They reacted to her. She was able to bring out our champion, to the ring, like accompany them in their tag match. So I thought she played her part well. She didn't do too much. She didn't take away from it. Everyone started acting like her shaking her ass was the worst thing WWE's put on TV. Are you kidding me? First off, twerking is like second nature. That's how people shake hands. Dogs sniff butts, humans shake butts. This is how we live now.
Also, like, didn't someone say they hoped someone died in the womb? Like, that's pretty bad. Like, you
like
know what I
a
mean?
month or two ago.
Right,
Like a
like-
month or two ago.
like-
Didn't no, that I'm sorry. That was years ago. But how
yeah.
about Candice LeRae bringing up a dead brother on TV?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure
Like
that's worse than
8:30.
shaking your butt. I just don't know who she is. She was fine. I just have no
Right.
idea who she is.
No, she's a rapper and she's very popular these days. And as I said,
Man, I'm old.
NXT has become for the culture, the audience is really responsive to things like that. And listen, they're chanting "whoop that trick," you know what I'm saying? So like where they're coming from in terms of like they like I was so shocked when Whoop That Trick became popular. Like I know Memphis has never let that go, but like other than that, this was like a movie over 10 years ago, right? Like what, 15 years ago? Like that's crazy that they brought it
Yeah,
back. I love it.
I love it too. Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with her. She didn't bother me. Again, I just don't know who she is, so it didn't like excite me or anything. But she didn't like
Yeah.
take away from anything. It's not like she decided that she was gonna like fight Roxanne for the women's championship. Maybe I wouldn't have been okay with
Imagine,
that. I wouldn't have been okay with that, I don't think.
imagine,
I don't know. I don't think I would have been okay with that.
imagine. I love Javon Evans, by the way, also. Like I'm big on Javon Evans. So seeing him get to main event the show with the champion, with Sexy Red accompanying them to the ring, like NXT was just a really good week. They're killing it on the way to their pay-per-view. Or PLE rather.
Yeah. I can just picture like Shawn Michaels asking his grandkids, "This sexy red tweeted me. Do I want her on the show?" And then being like,
Right?
"Yeah. Yeah, put her on the show." Oh, okay. That's what I picture every time. Hey, he's
Did
with it. He's with the culture.
did you hear Jordan Grace talk about what the first thing Shawn Michaels asked her about was?
I don't remember. Remind me.
It was the meme she posted like last week, the Pop Tart Tar. Did you see this?
No.
You didn't see this? So she
Mm-mm.
posted a picture. It wasn't even her hand, but she cropped it so it looked like it could have been. But she posted a picture holding two Pop Tarts, and then there's just like raw hamburger meat between the Pop Tarts, and it's squished together as a sandwich, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a bite taken out of it. And she's like, "This is my pre-workout. It's called Pop Tartar." And it was just like she just found the picture
That's
online and
funny.
posted it as a joke. But apparently, when she met Shawn Michaels, the first thing he asked her was like, "Yo, did you really eat that shit?"
Shawn Michaels is the best. What is happening? I can't
So
believe
funny.
Yo, DX is doing it, bro.
They really are.
They're fucking doing
Listen,
it.
we got Battleground next week, so we're gonna get into our predictions. But before we get into the matches, do we think there's a chance? And listen, maybe a match gets added this week. It's very possible. I'm looking at the card; it's only got 5, which has become normal for a Triple H pay-per-view, especially an NXT pay-per-view. So I don't think we need another match per se, but it wouldn't surprise me if they added one more. But I'm wondering if you think we get any TNA crossovers like like maybe any more TNA crossovers happening on the pay-per-view.
Like for
Like,
matches?
yeah, like maybe someone interferes. Wesley, for example,
Oh, I think
has
the
a
Rascals are
championship
coming
match.
out for
Maybe the
Wesley. I think the
you
Rascals
don't?
are gonna come.
Or you
No,
think
I
they
do.
are?
I don't
That
know if
would be
they'll do
sick,
anything,
man.
but I think they might come out.
I
Oh my
think that would
God.
be huge.
Oh, I love the Rascals. They're really good in NXT. The three of them were fucking I mean not NXT, TNA. Sorry.
I'm about to say, I was like,
Sorry,
yeah.
my brain. There's too many
What was
initials. The
yeah, right?
treehouse? When they had the
No, the
treehouse?
treehouse was good. I was trying to think of what name they got when it was just Zach and Wes in
The
NXT.
Widow
MSK.
Wascals.
No, that's not what it was. It was MSK.
Oh yeah, and we were trying to figure out what it stood for.
Misunderstood Stoner Kids.
Is
Final
that
answer.
yeah. That's a mouthful. Hence why it's
Let's
MSK.
let's get into Battleground.
Okay.
Nathan Frazier and Axiom, the tag team champions. By the way, shout out to Axiom. He sent the wrestling club. I don't know if it's a custom mask, but he sent them one of his masks, and they freaked the fuck out.
That's
And
so
anytime the
nice.
wrestling club freaks out online, it makes my fucking day. So shouts to Axiom. That's so cool. Nathan Frazier and Axiom defending their tag team championships against the OC, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. We talked about them earlier. It seems like there should be fixtures on SmackDown again now that they're realigning with AJ, but maybe they get some gold. Danielle, what do you think?
No, I think Nathan Frazier and Axiom are retaining. I don't think the Snore brothers are going
Okay,
to.
you shut your filthy mouth. That is not
Wait, they're the
okay.
OC? You called them the Good Brothers.
I've been calling them the Good Brothers, but you wrote the OC on the fucking on the goddamn notes, so I'm just reading it like
I
Ron fucking
copied and
Burgundy.
pasted from Wikipedia.
Well, then Wikipedia is calling them the OC. I
How
like to call them
dare
the Good
you,
Brothers.
Wikipedia?
I mean, the OC is definitely their name in WWE, but I like the Good Brothers better. Like that's how I think of them.
That's because we use good brothers in like everyday life. Like I'll be like, he's a
That
good
too,
brother.
but also didn't they have like Good Brother beer, Good Brother brewskis, something like that? Like I thought that was cool.
Probably. I don't think they're retaining. I don't think they're winning. I think Nathan Frazier and Co
Yeah, I
are
think the tag team champions stay exactly where they are. And as I said, I do think the Good Brothers will probably fly back to the main roster. Maybe they'll float back to NXT in a little bit. I think this run in NXT was good because they weren't doing anything with them. But if
right.
WWE is gonna finally, get them back into the mix on WWE SmackDown, then I'm all for that. So
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
that's what we're gonna get. Let's go Shayna Baszler versus Lola Vice. This partnership does not last anymore. Also interesting, this match is happening while Shayna Baszler is currently #1 contender for the tag team championships, which technically can be defended on NXT television as well. But I don't think Bianca and Jade are going to get involved in this one. I'm going to start this off. I think Lola Vice is going to get the win. I think Shayna Baszler is doing business at this show. I think that's kind of why they had them pair up and then take them out. I loved that when Lola Vice turned on Shayna Baszler was quick to turn the tables and choke her out, as she should. I don't really think Shayna Baszler should be losing singles matches to too many people in the company in general. That's just how I'd like to see her portrayed. However, I do think it makes the most sense for her to go ahead and do the job to Lola Vice here, put her over. So that's where I'm going.
Oh, I disagree, and I'm going Shayna Baszler. I think we're keeping
Love
Shayna
it.
Baszler looking strong, and I think Shayna Baszler's going to win. Remember when Shayna Baszler
Okay.
was NXT champion?
I mean, that's kind of why I want to go Shayna, because it's like, yes, she's a main roster talent coming to NXT, which traditionally means she's putting the new talent over. She's helping out. She's doing the job. But in the NXT world, Shayna Baszler is kind of a fucking legend. If NXT had a Hall of Fame, she'd be in it already. So, like, to your point, in terms of your prediction, she really shouldn't be losing to anyone on the NXT roster, champion not included. Because you can lose to the champion, that's fine. But anyone else, Shayna Baszler really should stand out as just heads and shoulders better than them.
Yeah.
She's former champion. She was
love
undefeated for how
Shayna.
long? She's on the main roster, about to take on the tag team champions. So really, you're right. She shouldn't be losing to anyone. But I do think that's why she's here. I'm programmed to think that way.
Okay,
How about excuse me,
you're excused.
the North American Championship? We had a triple threat. Your favorite champion, Obafemi, defending against Wesley and Joe Coffey.
Man,
And
I love
you
all
think
three
the
of these
Rascals are
guys.
coming out? That's going to be cool.
I think the Rascals are gonna come out. I don't know if they're gonna help him win, but I think they're gonna come out. They might do some fuddy-duddy stuff. But yeah, I think Oma Femi's gonna retain. I think he's too good. I don't see him losing the championship anytime soon. So I think this is gonna be a really good match though. I think this
I
is gonna
agree.
I think this will probably be the best match of the night, in my opinion. Close second to the last
I
one.
think there's going to be something where where Joe Coffey kind of ends up costing Wesley the match.
I can
Like
see that.
Wesley's got it won, Joe Coffey gets involved, then Obafemi ends up pinning Coffey, but like that brings us to Wesley kind of feuding with Gallus, which leaves us open. Like even if they're
Yeah.
not going to do it, at the very least, interest is going to be piqued on that feud because wait a minute, are the Rascals really going to reunite?
Oh my God, I hope so. I hope so. I love the Rascals.
Me too. Let's talk about Roxanne Perez versus Jordan Grace.
Oh,
This match is going to be so fire. I'm so happy we're getting this. I wish I could go with Jordan Grace. I'd love to see it.
yeah.
I mean, listen, maybe I'm getting worked solely because of the fact that like maybe if the news sheet the dirt sheets were telling us Jordan Grace in negotiations to work for the next 3 months with NXT and TNA, and then the wheels would be turning. But because I'm looking at this as, a one-time thing because I'm looking, this is just a big match they're giving us as opposed to like a huge moment where we could actually see the TNA Knockouts champion become NXT champion. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they should do that. But because of how much would be involved behind the scenes to make that happen, excuse me for having my doubts. So I gotta believe the freshly heel Roxanne Perez pulls out some dirty tricks and gets the dirty win to retain her championship against Jordynne Grace, which is gonna be a big win for her. That's huge bragging rights.
Oh,
for Roxanne
100%.
Perez.
But I agree with you. I think Roxanne's gonna win, but I don't think it's gonna be a clean win. There has to be some
Right. No. That's what I'm saying.
There has to
it's
be
gonna be a dirty
something.
win for sure.
Right. It has to be a dirty win because it has to establish that, because you have to still keep Jordynne looking strong, because you can't just have her come and like job out to the champion, but you also can't have her beat the champion. Like, it's a very weird thing that you have to touch on lightly.
I've always thought heel Roxanne should have a heater in her corner.
Yeah.
Have some muscle. So maybe we get that here. I mean, what better opponent to convince you need someone to have your back than Jordynne Grace? She looks like the Terminator. Like, Roxanne Perez should be scared and should be looking out for contingency plans to retain.
I'm blanking. Is Jordynne Grace feuding with anyone on NXT right now? I mean, Jesus Christ, on TNA right now? Like a female that would come out?
I believe so. I'm not sure. I don't think that's the way they're gonna go though.
No, you think Roxanne's gonna do some like heelish shit, like poke her in the eye or
something?
something?
Like I think it's gonna be all like I don't
like
think
dirty.
At least not for this match. I don't think they're gonna 100% harp on the crossover aspect of just TNA runs in, NXT runs in. Like I don't think that. But once again, it's like if we just look at all the things that are possible and what ways they could make us lose our freaking minds, imagine we're like some random person, like just another wrestler in NXT randomly comes out, interferes, costs Jordynne Grace the match. Why? Because you don't even go here. Like, we're not letting you take our title. Are you kidding me?
That's a good one too.
I'm coming for this championship. I can't do that on fucking Thursdays. Like, no, like this is our house.
Get out of here.
And then that's what brings out other knockouts. And then the show closes with like 3 knockouts staring at 3 NXT women. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, man. I'm really looking forward to this pay-per-view now. Or PLE.
Yeah, it's a fun time. Like, it's a fun time to be a fan. You really don't know what's happening. And that brings us to the ladder match for the NXT Women's North American Championship, crowning the first one ever. And this is going to be a fun one. I think I'm going with Lash Legend. I've been screaming her praises for so long.
I knew you were going to pick her.
I mean, listen, I feel like I have to. Like, she's become like my female Drew. Where it's like, I do nothing but talk about how great she is. And in this type of match, she's going to show up and show out. She's got power. She's got athleticism. She's got charisma. Lash Legend is going to be the person everyone talks about when this match is done, win or lose.
I also really like the way the belt looks. I like the belt.
It's a good one.
It's a good belt.
I think Sol Ruca could win also. Like, she's a standout.
I think Jada Parker's winning.
And this match kind of caters to her strengths.
I think Jada Parker's winning.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think I'm going with her. I think this is going to be a really fun match. Isn't this how they determined the North American Championship, the men's? Didn't they do a ladder match? Who was first? Ricochet? Adam Cole. Ricochet. Who won first?
Cole, I think. Adam
Cole, baby?
Yeah.
Remember Adam Cole?
But yeah, I'm curious to see where they put this match. You don't have an NXT. I mean, at least right now, they don't have an NXT championship match on this. So you kind of think main event should be Roxanne versus Jordynne Grace. But with the title being, your first champion being crowned, with it being a ladder match, it wouldn't surprise me if they did this last either, but makes more sense for this to be the opener, I think.
It is very weird that Trick isn't on this, no? Like, why wouldn't
like I said,
we still have we still have Tuesday.
Well, because Trick's kind of been like not like he was kind of feuding with Gallus off and on, but now we're getting into the Ethan Page Trick Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be very surprised if they just rushed a match together for NXT for this. I think with this card and with the fact that they do like to do a smaller card, They've
Right.
got, what is it? 4 championship matches on the card without putting Trick Williams on. So I kind of feel like
that's
this
fine.
card, maybe we don't need Trick Williams to do it. We don't need Trick Williams to take away from the fact that we're crowning a North American Women's Champion. We don't need Trick Williams to take away from the fact that maybe we want Jordynne Grace to get like one of the bigger reactions of the night. We want Jordynne Grace to feel like an absolute star. So maybe it's better to just kind of leave your most over person off the show just for one night.
We also don't want to take away from Trick either, because Trick is the champion. So you don't want to take away with Jordynne Grace and like all the other the new.
I mean, I
NXT
wouldn't be.
women,
I think we'd see Trick on the show. Like
yeah.
But once again, we've got a week, so I could easily see them giving him something to do this Wednesday. Or maybe him and Ethan Page get into like a backstage brawl.
And then they kiss.
Different ways we can do it.
I know. I'm really looking forward to this this consummation of NXT and TNA. I'm really looking forward to it. And the
as soon as you said this consummation, I'm like, what the fuck?
Consummation.
No, I got what you're saying. Right, no, I understand.
Not canoodling.
Right.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in this Sunday. And as Brady always says, in the future, if you don't already follow us on social media, we are at the Heel Marks. We are anywhere you listen to your podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, we're not just smart marks, we're heel marks.
They're not just smart, they're heel marks. They're not just smart,